Incoming transmission. I don't even know why Onyx, Killobyte, and Clickbait are wasting their time with these next few comics. I'm barely in them. If I were there, Megatron could easily crush the pathetic Autobot alliance and gather all the mini-cons with zero effort. Turn back now, listeners, as there are much more important podcasts to tune into. Let's see. I know. How about switching to stuff you should know? Or even better, hello from the Magic Tavern. Oh, you're still here? Well, if you insist, let us continue with the show.
Hello and welcome back to the podcast. New season, new continuity. That's right, we're doing season 5. We've done a bunch of one-shots and we just finished IDW Beast Wars continuity, so now we're diving straight into Dreamwave's Armada comics. I'm your host, Onyx Prime, and with me are my fabulous co-hosts.
Hi, Killobyte.
And I'm Clickbait.
Fantastic, and moving on with our comic discussion for today's episode takes us to Dreamwave's Armada Volume 1, also known as the previews plus issues 1 through 5. And as always, spoiler warning. So if you haven't read it already, we highly recommend you go back and read the comics, then come listen to the podcast. With that, Clickbait, would you mind giving us the facts? And Killobyte, do you mind giving us the trivia and short summary?
Will do.
Absolutely. Starting off with some fast facts for the evening. Number of comics is 6. The year released in issue 0, or the preview, was released April 24th of 2002, and issue 5 made it to store shelves on December 18th, 2002. Our writer for this series is Chris Saracini, with pencils by James Reyes, with inks by Rob Armstrong and Eric Sander, backgrounds by Edwin Garcia, and colors by Kenny Lee, Alan Wang, Gary Young, Ramil Sunga, Rob Ruffalo, Felipe Smith, Sean Curtis, David Chung, Chris Walker, and Elliot Kravishik. I apologize to any Earthlings whose names I had issues with.
They were very tricky.
Yes.
I guess it's time for some trivia.
It's your turn, sir.
Yeah, thank you. First time.
You're welcome.
See how it goes.
You're welcome.
In the preview, Prime and Megatron are shown to have their Earth mode bodies millions of years before they would acquire them.
Suspicious.
Very suspicious.
In issue 3, a comment made by James Reyes originally drew the humans in his normal style, which was unfortunately not approved by Hasbro. He then sent them a quasi-anime style, and in James' words, not a very good one. I sent it to Hasbro. Unfortunately for me, they loved it. Wow.
Oh, no.
Wow, that's a lot. Thank you, Hasbro. Now for some summaries. The Decepticons make the first move in their plan to rule over Cybertron, and that involves enslaving the Minicons. Ouch. And as always, this information has been taken from the wiki. And a special shout out to all of our patrons. Thank you so much for the support. You are all
Thank
amazing.
you so much.
Thank you so
You
much.
get a Rod Star. You get a Rod Star. You get a Rod Star.
Everybody
Slow down. We're running out of Rod Stars.
Oh, Primus.
You're right.
We gotta go make more.
You're right. All right, shall we get started?
We shall.
Absolutely.
We have a lot to cover. We start off in a really fun and exciting way, I think. A non-affiliated alien group comes to Cybertron to help sort out what they think is a little misunderstanding, only to be squished by Optimus and Megatron fighting and duking it out. And the only survivor basically leaving and saying this isn't their problem anymore. That's issue 0.
I thought that was
I
hilarious.
thought that was fun. It was fun to see it kind of brought in from like this overarching perspective, and then instantly just boom, perspective shift. The bodyguard is squished. The scholar is the only one that makes it out alive, and he's like, you know what? sometimes it's just not our problem. So I thought that
It
was
was
funny.
such a fun scene. Like it was like
Yeah.
both like super serious. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I like how the scholar is the one narrating. It's like, "Hey, we've been sent here. We do this all the time, and this is my bodyguard." He barely talks, and then suddenly you see Optimus closing in the background, and then it squishes the bodyguard. Gets up, continues to fight Megatron, and the scholar's like, "Okay, I'm out."
I wonder if he was debriefed that they were giant robots.
I don't know.
I feel like he definitely did not go into that with the right information.
Right.
The-
So, moving forward, we dive into issue 1, where Hotshot is a menace to Cyber City, breaking traffic laws, causing car accidents, and this is because he has an urgent message for Optimus, who wants to go into more detail.
Well, I can say the message is some minicons that are requiring the Autobots' assistance because
Mhm.
the Decepticons have started attacking minicon villages and then kidnapping them to enslave them to use them as, I guess, power batteries so that they can be stronger than the Autobots, which is not something I thought I would say.
Yeah, basically. And
Quite
it
the
seems like
sentence.
this is happening on Cybertron. I thought initially this was happening in a different location, but then they talk about it later happening actually on Cybertron in like the little minicon district, I guess they have.
Right. And they keep attacking these villages and they're using them for batteries and declaring war on the Autobot. And one of our main minicons that we follow in this issue or volume is Sparkplug, who for the last issue wasn't having a good time being chased and attacked by Decepticons. Finds himself rescued by 3 jet minicons with a plan for not just them, but for all minicons. And these
Mhm.
jets are Runaway, Sonar, Jetstorm, aka the Saber team for those who've seen the series and are following along. They're hiding in trash as their base. What are your thoughts? So far, I really enjoy being able to see more of the minicon interactions and feel like they have more unique personalities compared to the show.
I agree. Even throughout this series, as we move on, they do a pretty good job of establishing at least the different teams seem to have different mentalities, and the bots among them have similar traits, but they're still kind of embrace their own individuality, which I thought was really nice. I do think it's smart that they were hiding in the trash. I feel like that's definitely an easy way to try and mask a signal, especially if the Decepticons have already moved past there. That's a good place to hide, just tactical wise.
Yeah, that made sense, and I do like their personalities because they were like, they would agree and they would go like, "Phew, ditto," and then affirmative and yep, and so they
Yeah,
just felt
it was
felt
cute.
like with a lot of cool energy. So I like that, and I do like seeing the minicons on like their perspective because in the show they were already in like the stasis, and then they were awake and they're like, "You're my partner now," and then that's about it. And here we can kind of see them
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
even because the Autobots are the good guys, it doesn't mean that they want to be with them. They just want to be their own person or bot, I guess. And so it's not like they would just automatically default to being with the Autobots and helping them. They're just like, leave us alone. We just
Mhm.
want to be alone. So that's an interesting
Right.
perspective.
Yeah, in this show, it was like the famous Animu pocket monsters, right? Whereas you gotta catch
Monsters.
some.
I thought that was Digimon.
What was the phrase? Is it Digimon?
Catch.
Yeah.
They want.
You
They
gotta
That's
want
the
all
one
of
Digimon.
you
them. I
catch
know
them
they want all
in a
of them.
ball, right? The Digiball.
Catch
Yeah,
and release.
that's what the
Catch and
show is like.
release.
But this one, that never works out.
Oh,
But in this one, they
dang.
actually have their own
Dang.
personality, right? And they're not just objects or means to an end. Well, the Decepticons think they are, but I
Mhm.
really like seeing that. Not what the
Yeah, in the show,
Decepticons do. I like seeing the personality.
yeah, and this series starts off very strong with the Decepticons immediately coming out of the gate, super aggressive.
Mhm.
Megatron's just like grabbing minicons and just like clapping them like onto different parts of his body, like, oh yes, I'm just gonna press you into service now. No like gentle intro, no lead up into this. It's just Megatron forcing these minicons to do stuff for him, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh my god, it starts
Yeah.
off really
Megatron's
dark.
just trying to
There's
see
no
how many
lead in.
minicons he can wrist slap bracelet onto him.
That's what it feels like. That's absolutely what it feels
With
like.
the Decepticons taking over Cyber City using the power of minicons they stole. Meanwhile, Sparkplug and his new friends rescued the captured minicons. Any favorite scenes during this montage?
Oh man, most of the
I liked a
scene
lot
is
of it.
just Megatron slapping them on, so it's just kind of
Yeah, he's just
concerning.
slapping minicons left and right or smacking them out of the way. And then let's see, they got in by sneaking in. So I felt like it was well done. I mean, it was a good plan on the minicons part, for sure. And they
Mhm.
definitely executed it well and then just got the heck out of there. But yeah, they're so cute. The minicons are so dang
They're really adorable.
cute.
They are
They're
adorable. That's why I
really
love them.
adorable. I love them too. They're so cute.
I do like that we have the ensemble cast from the show. So we have Optimus, Red Alert, and Hotshot. But then we also have Smokescreen and Scavenger, which they do join later on. But we have them here from the beginning. So I'm like, that's cool. So that way they kind of match up because
Mm-hmm.
the Decepticons always had the bigger army, I wouldn't say, or the members in the show.
Right. So moving us forward, jumping a million years on the planet Earth, we meet Rad, Alexis, and Carlos, our main humans of the story, also from the show, although slightly different introductions. They discover minicons in a small cave, which sends a signal to Cybertron, alerting both Decepticons and Autobots of their location. But that's not the most important bit. Carlos has the best tools for fixing things: a couple of wrenches, a hammer, tape, handful of screws, and can't forget the washer, which the minicons use to fix themselves and build the humans a hover cart, which I thought was adorable.
I don't know where they got most of those supplies, but
Yeah,
Yes,
they
that has to
they
be a
did
big
that.
garage
came out
with
of
a
Yeah,
bunch
nowhere.
of scraps.
That's pretty impressive
What if it's
with
the mom's car?
small handful.
Oh, it could have
Yeah.
been. Yeah.
Oh no. That was very impressive with the small handful of tools that Carlos left them with the night before.
Right.
But I like that we get Sparkplug and then we get Grindor, Sure Shock, and I always forget one of them. What's the bicycle one?
Jolt? Isn't it Jolt?
No,
High
Jolt
Wire.
is the helicopter. Highwire.
Oh,
Highwire, Grindor,
I
and Sure
can't keep.
Shock. So
They're
that
so
was
cute.
nice.
I feel like they only said their names once and then didn't say their names again, and I'm having a hard time keeping track of them because there's so many.
Yeah, it looks like we gotta watch the
Yeah,
show
there's no
now.
roll call. Yeah.
Oh, Primus,
So-
no.
The Decepticons and Autobots finally arrive and chaos ensues, with Megatron already hot on the minicons and the kids' trails. Alt modes are found, but for some reason the kids are, after hiding, jump out and into the open again to be chased by the Decepticons. Did I read this the right way? Anyway, they run into the Autobots. Thoughts, theories?
The way I read it is they were kind of cornered initially, and then in true impulsive young human fashion, when the Decepticons grabbed the minicons, they were like, hey, put my friends down. And then the minicons managed to wiggle loose, and then they took off away from the Decepticons and then ran into the Autobots into a dead end thing. Luckily, they ran into the Autobots. But I thought
It all happened
cute.
because they didn't want their neighborhood to be crushed, and so the minicons found an alt mode, and then they're like, "Let's get out of here so we can take it out into the open field with trees."
Okay, got it. Humans are so weird.
Well, we've read so many comics at this point that I'm not surprised that they made this choice.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Continue on.
I think it's funny how the Decepticons get their alt mode, so they attack a military base, but then Demolisher scans the tank, which is definitely not the tank he turns into.
You're right.
And I was like, how does that work? Like this doesn't add up.
It's selective tank. Yeah.
Yeah.
Selective tank.
It's tank light.
Well, someone scanned in a tank mode for Megatron, and then so that could have been Demolisher, and then Starscream just tripped Megatron out by plugging it into him and uploading the tank alt mode.
That's exactly what I was just gonna say. Like
Yeah.
Starscream gives Megatron like a pat on the back and then injects him in alt mode, and he's like, "I will kill you, Starscream," and then he's like, "Wait, I like this alt mode, thank you," and I'm like, "Okay, sure." That's how that
What a
works.
weird relationship they have. So this last issue starts with the introduction of 4 more minicons. This time they woke up at a car compactor. I thought that was a fun intro.
Poor Rollbar. That's the minicon for Scavenger. He almost got squished.
I just like the mini
I know, in the
adventures they're having.
Compactor,
Like
yeah.
they're not just little, gotcha or MacGuffins for both what they are, but they have personality.
Yeah. I do like that they were like
Well,
looking for radio parts and stuff to like message the other
Mhm.
minicons and stuff so that they have a
Yeah.
little bit of that.
Yeah, they're not
That they
helpless.
weren't just
They can
sitting
actually
there.
do something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the flip side, Megatron juices himself up on minicons and beats up the Autobots. How will they get out of this one? Anyone care to contribute or continue to describe what happens next?
I just enjoyed the shade that was being thrown by Optimus. We love a sassy Optimus. And I thought it was fun when the minicons acknowledged the battle posturing that Optimus and Megatron tend to have a habit to do in these conflicts. And, they come in, why is he just talking? Do they do this every time? How do they get anything done? And then one of the other bots there says, oh no, he's biding time for something. And like, what for? And then someone drops him out and on top of Megatron. And like, oh, that, cool. And then they run away.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
We finally get the minicons deciding what they want to do, and then we get
Mhm.
Jolt, Roll. Oh, I don't remember the name I just said. And then they join and they merge with Hotshot, Red Alert, and Optimus. Because for some reason Scavenger is there but doesn't get a minicon at the moment.
Yeah.
He's in
Yeah,
timeout.
and to
He's
make
in
it-
timeout.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Megatron just leaves.
Yeah, he's like, I'll get you next time.
Even though they didn't fight after they merged with the minicons, they're like, actually, no thank you.
What? It's an equal fight. We can't do this anymore.
Well, his minicon might have been running
Yeah.
out of energy, and he's like, okay, well, I gotta recharge. And then
I
left.
guess. And that's volume 1. One thing I want to point out, did anyone else notice there was a lot of weird crotch shots of Megatron?
There
Yeah.
were a lot of them.
There's
Oh
like
my
3 or
gosh.
4 of them. We'll put them on the screen for you guys because
Yeah,
There's one with
And then
Optimus
and then
too,
there were,
and
like-
it's pretty
Yeah.
right in your face.
yeah. And there
Yeah.
were some of Starscream too, with that like from the back, but like looking up, and they had like a kind of like funky side profile one. A lot of interesting shot angles.
interesting
Yeah.
angles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting
Well,
angles.
anything else we want to?
Yes, there's one thing I would like to add, and it's their knees. Sometimes, like their knees would have it looks like they have ratchet knees, and they would just keep going forward. So they
Yeah,
were
they're
like,
like sticking their waists out. It was interesting.
yeah, it's like they needed to pump their chest and their crotch also forward to be. I'm like, what is going on here? Like this is not. This doesn't look good.
Only
Are we
thing I
ready
have
for
to add
clickbait's quick quotes?
we can be.
You can add, and then do the quick quotes.
Okay. The only thing I have to add is I feel like they are definitely doing a really good job villainizing the Decepticons for this series. They're creating some really great stakes for the Autobots to work against, for the Minicons to work against. They're adding a lot of interesting dynamics. There's in some of the Transformers series we have, it's kind of difficult to determine who the real villain is. But I feel like in this series that they're like, no, it's Megatron, hands down, no doubt. This guy's doing some not cool stuff. And so it's fun to have, an easy villain to work towards with the story.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's all I got.
Clickbait quick quotes.
It's time for my favorite part of the episode. You guessed it. Clickbait's quick quotes. Our first quote comes from issue number 1. It's from the little robo guy who welcomes you into Cyber City. And it's when Hotshot is zooming past him, and he goes, our motto here at Cyber City. If we can't transform your frown into a smile, then we just haven't done our job. And then Hotshot just zooms past him. And I think this was right after he was like, obey all traffic laws. And the Hotshot just like completely ignored that whatsoever. I thought it was a cute one. Our next quick quote comes from issue 4, and it's from Megatron. And this is a little bit of a different vein of quote. And he says, you shouldn't have run minicons, because when I get my hands on you now, I'll do much more than rewire your circuits. I'm going to remove your legs and use them to decorate my throne. Which is very aggressive. That is very dark, sir.
It sure was.
Excuse you. He did not need to go that hardcore there, but he did. It was a decision that he made. And then our final quick quote comes also from issue number 4, and it's from a random citizen of what city are the humans in? Anyways, the city that the humans are in there, and the kids are zooming by on their now mini-cons with their alt modes. And he goes, dang, those motorized wheelchairs are getting more and more high-tech every year. And I just thought that one was funny. So
That was pretty funny.
there you
That was
have it.
pretty funny.
Yeah. Clickbait's quick quotes.
Little
That's it.
robot guy, Megatron, and random citizens. Your quotes will go down
Yeah.
in history. Broadstar rating. Kilobyte, do you want to lead the pack?
I don't know if I'm a good choice to lead in. There might be some biases in here, but
Armada is your favorite.
yeah.
Is this going to be a Beast
Ow.
Wars situation again where it's just 5 every time?
Oh my gosh.
No, definitely none of that. But the beginning, like I liked seeing the minicons perspective and how they just wanted to live in peace. And we got to see it on Cybertron and all that. So that was very fun, and just kind of how they get introduced and seeing their perspective. Once we got to Earth, the humans just looked kind of funky to me. Like, I understand now why. So I was like, oh, this is not very good to look at. But overall, I thought that the conflict and the fight scenes were fun. There's some questionable shots and some questionable body designs, but I think the art looks cool. Sometimes Megatron has red teeth, sometimes he has white teeth. I don't know. It's a thing.
Yeah, it was interesting.
I'm still in shock of like how dark they've taken Megatron, where he's like, I want to enslave the minicons, and I don't. And there's literally a scene where he's operating on one of the minicons, and then you see him manually transform him with his hands and then just stick it on his. And I'm like, what is going on here? This is definitely on a different level than the show. So, but overall, they kept me engaged, and it was fun seeing all these characters once again. So it's definitely like a 4 for me, and like it definitely has its issues, so it's definitely not a 5. But it's like a 3.54. So I would definitely just go lean on 4.
Yeah, I think I'm going to echo a 4, honestly. Like, this is a good first start. The preview is a fun little intro, but then it goes straight into how dark Megatron can be. It is not your dad's Armada show anymore. This is like the serious version of the show. It is more brutal. It goes into more detail. The writing could be improved on. The quasi anime, I'll quote, could be better. Hasbro, what were you thinking? But other than that, the robots look great.
Yeah.
I like it. Can't wait for more.
I think I am also going to echo with a 4. It was a really fun jumping off point. It definitely hit the ground running. Lots of action. There was some really great writing in it for like the text bubbles and for the speech. I felt like it was really true to each character, especially the way they established them. So far, a fun story arc. I love getting to see new approaches, like with the minicons. We haven't really gotten to see very much into them and their dynamic before. Again, same issues. The art style was weird. We know why. But it still looked good. Robots looked good. I had fun. It was a good time. So definitely I'm going to go with a 4 as well.
But listeners, what do you think of these comics? How many raw stars would you give it? Let us know by leaving a comment below. If you would like to get in contact with us, you can send us an email at swervesbarpodcast@gmail.com. That is SWERVESBAR podcast@gmail.com.
Look at you go.
Anyone have new toys they want to talk about? Because if not,
I have so many
I
new
got 3
toys.
little.
I have so many
I got
new
3
toys.
on point. Is that the right word? No, phrasing. No, I got the Star Team recently from Fans Hobby. The minicons that form the Star Saber.
Hey!
They're nice. They're nice.
So good.
They're a little bigger than the Armada toy line, but they are not as delicate, I would say. Like, they don't pop in pieces. They have a little bit more posability, which is nice. Like, fantastic. Overall, posability, way better than the original. They combined easier, which is nice. And they look accurate, which is fantastic. And not only can Legacy toy lines hold it with the little peg hole, but also the Fans Hobby toys with the little rail in the handle, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
That's what I got.
Nice.
Yeah, I like it. I
Nice.
like the diversity because I have my Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus holding it right now.
Nice. I won them.
Sick.
Not bad. And the Jetfire too.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I made a trip to Earth a couple weekends ago and frequented one of their big human gatherings where they talk about all the different things that are popular in human culture. and I managed to pick up one of their Transformers Legacy United Fractured Friendship 2-pack boost little boxes that they got. Is super cool. The figures are a lot of fun. It's got Megatron and Optimus, and Megatron has a really cool hammer, and Optimus, I like the way they look. They look kind of IDW style, which is really nice. They're really fun. The figures are pretty hefty, and I really like the way they did Optimus's chest cavity, so it's a little bit different than how it usually is, but it's still like flip up and you can put the Matrix in it. And yeah, I like it. They're cute, they're fun. They transform into their kind of IDW type alt modes. I love them. And it was fun to see the humans doing their gathering thing.
Yeah.
It was really cool. There were a lot of them. It was a comic
That's the one in
convention.
California, right?
Yeah. Well, on the beach, the comic convention human gathering on the beach. There were a lot of humans there.
Nice. Caleb?
Yeah.
Cool. Hearing us talk about Transformers today has made me realize that describing Transformers is never as good as you think it sounds. Because we talked about
No.
knees, we talked about like cavities, and then crotches. It was like, what is going on today?
It is quite the ride today.
But
Yeah,
for
I agree.
toys, I don't think I've brought this up, but I got the Legacy Skyquake. I like him. Looks pretty cool.
Ooh, he's so nice.
I like the design. So overall, I would say it's a very good figure. So get him if you can.
I agree. And the
Fantastic.
Dreadwing.
There's some bias in that
That's for the
statement.
next episode. Oh my
There
gosh,
is,
I
Are
absolutely.
you two ready for Armada Volume 2, issues 6 through 11?
I'm
You know
ready.
it.
Let's see what Megatron does
I'm
now.
so ready.
Clickbait, do you mind taking us out?
Absolutely not. So, everybody, if you enjoyed this episode, consider sharing it with your friends and subscribing. If you want to help out the show even further, we have started a Patreon. All the proceeds will go to supporting the show and keeping the lights on. Of course, we do have some tiers that offer other forms of gratitude, such as 3D files and entry into our Discord channel. You'll even get early access to our comic review videos a week before their public release. And as always, we hope you are all staying safe out there. Thank you so much for listening. Till all are one.
Till all are one.
Till our one.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Swerve Podcast, and even on Tumblr. Yes, with everything going on Twitter, we figured we should cover our bases. Speaking of which, you can also find us on Twitter at Swerve if that's still a thing. If you're interested in more content, try checking out our spin-off D&D series, Transform and Roll Out. Season 3, titled Eons, is out now. Let's tune in to a preview now.
Vassvee here. Let's see what's going on next time on Transform and Roll Out.
That's fair. I say out loud to no one who can hear Mantics.
They just hear the one-sided conversation constantly.
You remember when I had Liege Maximo in my head? You sound like me right now.
Yeah, and it was really weird, wasn't it? But I put up with it. You're gonna have to put up with this.
Okay.
But Stormburst definitely looks like he's ready to get with it.
Get boogie with it.
As you see, there are multiple sweeps coming into the fray, and Grease, go ahead and roll me initiative as well.
Do I go out with his initiative?
You'll go off Scorch's initiative, yes.
Initiative.
I got him in a 14.
I don't want to talk to you.
Okay, I don't have time for that. Goodbye. Have fun in that cage. Scorchfire, she's not cooperating. Let's get out of here.
Is over it.
How strange. I don't understand why anyone would tune into such make-believe content. Perhaps it's the voice actors that makes special appearances sometimes. Oh well. Tune into their YouTube channel that has bonus content such as video games containing phony comments, convention videos, and trendy shorts. A link will be provided below. And if you're inclined, check out their Redbubble, where you can get pins, t-shirts, and more, or subscribe to their Patreon to access their Discord and listen to content before it's released to the public. More links will be provided below. End transmission.